everybody, my name is Starrapter and welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing two Star Wars comics that came out this week. The first one being Marvel, and this is Bounty Hunters issue number 9. This is the Terminus Gauntlet Part 2. So Valance has been tasked by the Rebel Alliance. He owes them a favor. Remember, he is a mercenary bounty hunter. He doesn't really have an allegiance, but he's going to help out this freighter that is in trouble because the Ohnaka gang have decided they want to raid this freighter. And well, he shows up at just the right time because all their X-Wing escorts are destroyed. So he decides to make an emergency landing on the freighter. In doing so, his ship basically blows apart, barely makes it in a hangar. And on welcoming him in there, this commander of this freighter puts him in a brig, does not want a mercenary to try to help them, doesn't know why he's there. And thankfully, he is being watched over by a young female mechanic, and she is able to sympathize with Valance and ends up freeing him for him to go in an X-Wing and blow up some Ohnaka gang members. And it's a great show of force by Valance, and it's funny because we have a flashback in the beginning of this issue which showcases that Valance was an Imperial cadet. He was on Karita. He trained with Han Solo and Lyson in the Imperial Cadet miniseries. So we see flashbacks relating to that about how he crash lands as a TIE fighter and survives, and the Empire just looked down on him. And it really just, drives the point home why Valance does not like the Imperials after they just left him for dead. So we do see by the end of this issue, Valance has this message he downloaded from the freighter, and he needs to transmit it. And while the commander of the freighter decides to surrender to the Ohnaka pirates, Valance ends up, making a show for these guys, goes into hyperspace with the X-Wing, but jumps out before he does so, unbeknownst to anybody, and now he's back on the freighter. He's going to save the day. But we also have a B story in this very here issue, which relates to a character that we thought was dead for sure by the hands of Boba Fett, and that is Tonga is still alive. We have Tonga, who is being reunited with her lover. Her name is Lasha Tarkin. Not to be confused with the Grand Moff Tarkin. She spells it with an O, not an I. So we have that whole storyline going where she's basically cybernetically enhanced, kind of like Fennec Shand had that bullet thrower or that blaster through the stomach. Kind of reminded me of that. But yeah, this was a very action-heavy issue, and it was just really cool seeing that Valance is so capable in an X-Wing. So coming up next from IDW, we have part 2 of 2 of Smugglers Run. This is adapted from a novel that came out around the same time, right before 2015, right before The Force Awakens came out. There was a bunch of junior or middle grade novels, however you want to mention them. And this one is just a great action read. It translates so well to the page of a comic book because in this we have Han Solo and Chewbacca. Very simply put, they have to go to this very post-apocalyptic, dirty planet to go and exfiltrate this certain rebel agent who ends up being Agent Emmett, who actually shows up in The Last Jedi, and I believe he was in The Force Awakens as well. So they go there and they have this ISB agent that is after them, and they end up going into a very cool, tense space battle with the Falcon, and you have Han Solo's friend that, runs this little freighter that is like a canteen at the same time. It's very interesting, but we do see some really cool action, and that's what I'll say about this issue is, again, it just translates so well to the page. I do like all the lettering. I feel like the lettering really stood out in this comic book issue. Just the phonetics, the way that these words are worded and how they sprawl across the page just makes me have like the laser blast sounds in my head as I'm reading through this thing. Plenty of close calls in this where you don't know how the characters are going to get out. I haven't read the story in about 5 or 6 years. So yes, I forgot exactly how this thing goes, but I was still on the edge of my seat. And I think this is one of the strongest releases from IDW's Star Wars comics line in a long, long time. Now, we have the High Republic Adventures coming out next week, so that could give this one a run for its money. But I would say, if you're looking into getting into the IDW comics, this would be a great place to start because we really get that personality of Han Solo and Chewie and how they're working together right after the events of A New Hope. And I do hope that they make more of these. I do hope that this isn't just a one-off. I know we had that one-off of the Thrawn adaptation of the novel on the Marvel side of things, but hey, there's plenty, at this point, plenty of canon junior / middle grade novels out there for them to pull from, and just the artwork in here was fantastic. I got to see more of this content coming from IDW, and it can't be that difficult to make because you know, the actual writing is already done. It's just getting Illustrator and somebody to the writer to another writer to adapt what the original writer said, unless they can get the original writer. That's even better. So with that being said, that was all about this week's releases. What did you guys think of Bounty Hunters as well as Smugglers Run? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. For more on Star Wars, check back next week because it's going to be a pretty big week. We have 4 comics coming out next week, guys. We have Star Wars issue number 11. We have Star Wars Adventures number 3, which might finally get released. We also have the High Republic from Marvel issue number 2, as well as the brand new series, The High Republic Adventures, written by Daniel Jose Older for that premiere issue. So I'm very much looking forward to next week. More High Republic content is always a great week. So that is going to do it for me. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you like this content and you want to see more. That's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always.
Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.